Welcome to the Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.
So, welcome to the show. It's Monday. This is going out live on Mintwave Radio. You can ask Alexa if you've enabled the skill, or go to the website mintwave-radio.com, or if it's via podcasts, you can also download the app for Apple and Android. Have a look at the weekly schedule. Feel free to follow any that take your fancy. Now, today we have the lovely Lillian, and we're going to be talking about imposter syndrome and the feminine archetypes. Now, Lillian is an international speaker and coach. So I'm your host, Karen Roberts, helping coaches just get their message heard to the people who need to hear it. Now, Lillian is a dynamic and accomplished storyteller. She's a show host, speaker, panel host, and published author who believes in the power of owning one's own story. She created her first online chat show, Waking Passions, in 2009, which she produced and hosted for 3 years on 2 platforms. The show focused on connecting and interviewing coaches, trainers, change makers who are using their passions to positively impact the world. Now, her current show, Shine Out Loud show, shines a spotlight on the incredible men and women in the Black, Asian and mixed ethnic communities who are making a difference with their diverse creative talents. Lillian has shared her message of women's empowerment and self-mastery at various conferences and events, and she aims to empower women to consistently ask for what they desire and want in their personal and public lives. So, welcome to the show, Lillian.
Thank you for having me, Karen. Thank you for having me on the platform and sharing my story.
Awesome. And I know right now, obviously, you're not very far from me. I'm in London, I'm in Bromley, and you are only down the road in Woolwich, but that's not the beginning of your story. So would you like to share with the listeners, how did you get to where you are now? What is your story?
So my story it's an interesting one, because if someone had told me when I was a teenager or in my early 20s that I will be doing this today, I'll be like, yeah, go and walk off a bridge, because that's never going to happen. So typical story, coming into the world, moving. I am British Nigerian. My parents decided, nope, we're going to move the children back to Nigeria, move back to the UK. In between there and then, somewhere I lost my voice. I lost my voice to the point that speaking in public became one of the things that I was so deadly afraid of doing. Not only did I lose my voice, I lost a sense of myself to feeling like an other. I lost my own identity. I lost the power that I was born with, because the child that I was, a mouthy child, as my mother will put it. I did not hesitate to tell people who they were, what they were, and why people didn't like them. That was the child I was. But somewhere between that child and becoming a teenager and becoming an adult, something broke. Whether it was from school, being constantly laughed at because I sounded different in my school, feeling like an other in certain places, and just feeling a sense of not belonging. And I started to embody that. I started to believe that I didn't belong, or there was somehow something wrong with me. I was not good enough, and therefore my voice wasn't worthy. And somehow it also gotten into my brain that I sounded like a chipmunk on crack.
Love that.
Not that I make a point to have conversations with chipmunk to know which ones are on crack, but somehow I decided that's what my voice sounded like, and the world was better off without hearing it. And what do I go and do after university? I decided to open up a business with a friend, and the business was event management. What did we do? We decided to put on events for other women. Who got handed the mic each time? And I'm trying to throw up outside after being handed the mic, because I literally feel physically sick in my soul. But I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to host these events. I want to create these spaces, but I feel sick and I can't do this. And then we had a speaker on, and she started talking about the power of NLP. That's neurolinguistic programming, and how it can help with fears and phobias. And she just stood there, and there was this resplendent energy about her. She looked untouchable, unfoldable. She just looked so anchored in her own power and own space. I'm like, whatever she's on, I want it. And after I had her speak at our event, I actually started working with her, where she started coaching me. I then discovered the joys of NLP, and I was like, if this could work for me, oh wow, this could work for somebody else. And I decided to study it. I went and got my NLP practitionership. I decided to go and do Toastmasters and started working on my fears. And I realized that if I sounded like a chipmunk on crack who would rather swallow broken glass than speak in public, can now speak in public. What else can I do? And who else can I help? And then I got an opportunity to do some lecturing, tutoring for grown-ups, for adults, and on life skills, and bring in the skills that I've learned. I said yes to this opportunity, and every Saturday, I was delivering workshops for a college based in London, and I loved it. Not just did I just love it, but I love the fact that I could see in the class the moment the light went on for somebody, and they're like, I'm not broken. I'm like, no, you just forgot who you are. Oh, I can do this. Absolutely, you can. And I went on and I delivered different workshops for that college. One of the ones I'm most proud of was creating a 6-week course for mothers who were trying to return back into the work environment. And one of the things that these women who had spent time raising human beings walked into the session with was, oh, I'm just a mom, so my skills are no longer relevant. And I'm like, really? Let's make sure. And we were able to, in that 6 weeks, take apart the stories that they've been telling themselves. And it's really about, then I really got to understand that what sometimes gets in our way is not what's really in front of us, but it's the stories that we're telling.
Every time. Aren't we funny creatures? It's all made up stories on our head. But they do say that the majority of people do have a fear of public speaking. So
Yeah.
it's not unimaginable that you would fear it the first time. How do you go from, okay, you say you had your voice when you were a child and then you thought you'd lost it, but had you lost it, or was it just that everybody fears getting up and taking the mic the first time?
It was a mixture of that, but it was definitely a fear of it was being afraid of being seen and heard. It was a fear of feeling like I am not good enough and I'm not worthy. And there were things that had led to that feeling. Things you have experiences that erode and erode and erode. Because if you can imagine that when we are born, if you take an analogy of a mountain, we are a mountain, we are whole and solid. And then you have instance of being teased in school and being called names. And if you imagine that's like rain, and you haven't shored up your mountain line with trees and things to hold you up. Every time there's that rain comes down, it washes parts of you away. It washes you down till you're no longer this giant mountain. You are the equivalent of the Grand Canyon. So what was a solid structure is now broken into. And then you start to believe the stories that you are embodying. You're starting to believe the stories that other people are telling you. You start to believe. I remember one of the things that I remember quite vividly. I was told, I was in school, secondary school, art class. My art teacher looked at my work and told me, literally, you have no business being in my class. You are rubbish at art. Get out.
Wow.
And that was hard because my older brother draws with charcoal. and things that he can create is beautiful. My immediate younger sister, I think the talent that she has in terms of her ability to draw in her baby finger, just this little bit here, is basically more than my entire being. And that was what I believed. And I was like, I suck at this. And that I suck at this translated to other places. Now you see that piece of art behind me. That's mine. I
So you
created
don't suck. You
it. I
don't
don't
suck.
suck.
Isn't
No,
that
I don't.
funny? We allow perfect strangers. That's just so wrong. Somebody in a place of authority when you're at school, that they can have such an impact on you as a
Exactly.
child. But they do. Little eyes and little ears are around listening all the time. You have to be careful what you say.
Exactly. And it's not just you suck, it means you can't fail. And growing, and this is my thing with the educational system, wherever in the world, where children are ridiculed for failure, and then you wonder why those children become adults who become risk adverse, who become perfectionists, who become fearful that if I do something wrong, it doesn't mean I'm learning, it means I am not good enough to do that thing. And it leaves a mark, because I can go on to other instances of teachers saying, you did this wrong, people laughing, and it holds in spaces till you actually stop holding those stories. But it's not all, I'm talking about one pitch slice of my story. The other slice of my story was where I discovered the archetypes, but I didn't know there were archetypes at the time. I discovered mythology. And that's another part that I'm actually connected to. But I find, let's circle back to this then about this whole feeling of not belonging, that perfectionism that is driven. It then drives something else called the imposter syndrome, where you walk into spaces and instantly feel, I don't belong in this space. And then you become fearful. You become reluctant to take risk. Or if you are in that space, you then say, the only reason I'm in that space is because XYZ, I was lucky. Or somebody doesn't know that I suck. And once they find out, they will fire me. This will happen. The world will break in two. But it happens and it holds. And then that keeps us in this cycle of running around in our own heads and creating situations that sabotages the things that we want.
Yeah, we say sabotage, but it's all unconscious though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you might even not think that some of the things that were said to you when you were smaller had an effect. And I was quite a feisty child, I would say. I would stick up for myself. But it's interesting, isn't it? As an adult, you can actually look back and go, oh, just because I didn't think it affected me, it did affect me on an unconscious level. And do you
Exactly.
find that this is, I'm not saying women or men suffer it any more than the other, but do you find that, like you just mentioned there about you helping women coming back into the workplace after they've had children, because that can be another thing, right?
Exactly.
Those feelings of not being worthy, and if you've been out of it for so long. So how do they get over that? How do they get over imposter syndrome?
The thing is, you never actually get over it. What you do, you get better at spotting it, and you get better at using the tools to manage it. Because recently I was on a training, I was delivering training, and one of the things I said, it's like a Pokemon game. For anybody who out there has children, ask your children, they'll explain the Pokemon phenomena. The thing is, you get a Pokemon, and this thing travels with you, and it comes out and it battles, and then you get better at your strategies and growing with this Pokemon, and it evolves into something else. Now, what happens is when I make that analogy, people are like, I don't follow. I go, here's what happens. You will learn tools and techniques to deal with the imposter syndrome in front of you. You will then evolve as a person, and let's say you enter a leadership role. Now, what you may have been facing as your imposter syndrome triggers in your previous role will no longer trigger you. But because you're in a brand new space with bigger and different challenges in front of you, you may be triggered by something else. Now, because you've learned how to deal with the triggers over there, what you then become better and adept at is going, oh, I see you. You've just evolved. I see your sneaky self. You've just evolved. So let me address you. And you ask, how can they get over it? So there are a couple of ways. One of the things is, like I've just been saying, address it. Normally, when we have these fears, whether we call it the imposter syndrome, whether we call it the inner critic, whatever it is, most of the time we try to, we work on the head in sand method. If I don't see it, it doesn't see me. And then it just feels like this massive looming thing. But when you address it and go, hi, name it, see it, speak to it. One of the things I say is listen, because we're so busy trying to avoid those feelings, those, oh, these are negative feelings, I don't want to feel these, if I feel this means this. We're so busy trying to separate ourselves from the feeling, is that we never actually stop to check in. What is it? Who is it? When I say who is it, whose voice is it? For me, it was those teachers, it was family friends that say, oh, you think you're better, or you think you're too smart, or it's those voices. And then you start, then the questions is, how do you think when those voices come up? When you're able to name it and go, whose voice is it? The question will be, would you listen to that person today in your life? Does that person's opinion or notion of you hold water? Then we go into different aspects of it. And one, I borrow from the work of Byron Katie, and she uses questions to address it. One of my favorite questions from her 4 questions are, who are you when you believe those thoughts? Who are you? Who do you show up as? If you are fearful and afraid and you stop putting yourself forward for things, then those thoughts are not good for you. You're able to identify that those are negative thoughts and they should be put in check. Then you can do different things. Then it's trying, one of the other things I do is I get people to write out, what are those thoughts? Put it on paper, see it. Write it out as it in your head, and then write it in the first person. And I normally say, put your name against it. So on the left-hand side, just write the thoughts as it is. On the right-hand side of that column down the paper is write. So let's say for you, it could be Karen is, pick something that you may have battled with in the past. So pick something, Karen.
Yeah, I'm not worthy. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not, I don't deserve this.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, you will say, I'm not worthy. On the right-hand side, I want you to put, Karen is not worthy. And question, how does this make you feel?
Yeah, no, not good.
And then the next question, born from going back to Byron Katie's work is, how do you know this is true?
Yeah.
Not worthy of what? According to question it and start to dismantle it. And if you're struggling to dismantle, get someone who you know and trust, someone who holds you in high esteem, and talk to them. Because that's the other thing, especially for women, we've been sold this, oh, we have to go this alone, we are independent. Razzmatazz. You can't, Einstein says you cannot fix something with the same mindset that got you into it. You can't fix a problem with the same mindset that got you into it. So get somebody else. The other way if I can't get somebody else immediately, I tap into what I call my inner wisdom council. And this is where my archetypes come in. So my inner wisdom council is, I create a council of archetypes that I want to listen to. So for me, and let me explain what I mean by that is, when we talk about archetypes, these are aspects of ourselves that show up in the world that are universal for all of us, no matter race, color, religion, location. If I say mother, somebody understands what the term mother means. If I say father, somebody understands that. If I say God, an image is created. If I say lover, an image is created. So they're universal imagery, doesn't belong to one person. And within that, our world is made up of those archetypes. And so what I do is I pick on the archetypes that I find empowering for me. And so for me, I have my queen, my inner girl, my inner lover, my wise woman, my alchemist. I will then also rotate between my creative and my warrioress. And I pull them into what I call like a council of wisdom. And I ask them what to do. I will imagine, visualize, make believe, whatever feels comfortable to your listeners to hear, is I will sit and imagine I'm having this conversation and say, this is what I'm facing, this is what I need to do. And from a perspective of, I imagine myself sitting in the energy of the queen, how would I respond? What actions would I take? And so that's when I'm feeling really like I need other wisdom. I tap into my inner wisdom council for that.
Love that, because it's all coming from you anyway. So I suppose we all run away. We've been conditioned, haven't we? We've been conditioned to run away from anything that doesn't feel good.
Yes.
We don't want to sit with the feelings. We were talking the other day. It's like we've just got so many distractions around us. So to avoid feeling those feelings, we want to then distract, whether that's go to food, whether it's go to alcohol, whether it's to binge watch some rubbish on the telly, to go to your phone and just aimlessly scroll, because people are distracting themselves from
what's going
feeling
on.
It. Yeah. I mean, it does go back to education. It's because we've been conditioned to do that, but actually that's what we need to do. So I suppose what I'm hearing from you, that's a really great tool to use, because it's all, when people say go within, and some people struggle with that, but that's the same from what you've just said. That's really the same thing. You are going within. Because you're using your imagination to create these archetypes to get curious. Nobody gets curious. They don't ask about themselves, do they? Where does that come from? Why do you think that is?
Because I don't know. I think you've pointed out that whole, we don't sit with the feelings long enough anymore. Even sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, there are days like, I'm just gonna, Netflix is calling. I'd rather Netflix than deal with all of this. So there are days that we actually go through that, and we have been from childhood programmed to believe that wisdom lies outside of ourselves.
True.
It lies outside of ourselves. And especially if you come from a minority background, a woman, you've been taught that somebody else is supposed to be smarter than you. And we hand off that part of ourselves, that somebody has a power, somebody else is smarter, someone can figure this out. I am just this, so let somebody else do it.
We've given our power away.
Yep. But then also, I also look towards social media when we are in this kind of space where positivity rules. I must be happy all the time, and I must own my positive emotions all the time, and I must channel my positive energy. I have no space for negative energy. And I agree to an extent that, yes, we want to be in control of our emotional states, and owning our energy and being able to change our energy and sit in that positive energy is good. But you can't do it 24/7, because there are days where you're not. There are days, yes, you can be in gratitude, but also be realistic and go, this is a shit. Pardon my expression. And say, you know what? This, I'm grateful I'm alive, but this feels, why? You can face it and go, I don't want this. I don't want this. And I don't want to be in this. But still can look up and go, okay, all of this is going on, but you know what? I have people I can go to. So I'm grateful for that. So I'm not saying we throw the baby out with the bathwater, but it's understanding the fact that this whole idea that we have to be positive 24/7 is because I have to stay in my higher emotions. Like, they are all there for a reason. And this whole idea that some emotions are somehow less worthy
is a myth.
is also problematic. is also problematic. And then you have a lot of people feeling, oh, because I'm not in this happy state, then I have a problem. But it's understanding that
it's a dance. We've got to go through it. I suppose that's what it is, isn't it? You've got to accept it, feel it, and then move on rather than repress it.
Because what you resist, persist. And then once you've repressed it, the thing about anything that's repressed, if you look at the culture we live in, anything you repress comes out and it's funky.
Bosh.
It's funky. It is problematic. It becomes a monster. What you repress becomes, it's like a boil. If you cover a boil, it goes septic, and then it goes disgusting, and then it, instead of it coming out, it eats inwards, right? You gotta let it out. This whole idea, some days it's find people who you trust enough, who love you enough to hold you, that when you are there, and when you are, they will hold you, because that's powerful. And
it's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to have a bad day.
And being able to face your vulnerability also helps quiet your imposter, because the imposter syndrome feeds off that you've got to be perfect. So you're not willing to be vulnerable. But once you're willing to go, you know what? I don't know everything. You know what? This is what I'm feeling. Just by you doing that may give somebody else in the room to go, oh, so it's not just me. Okay, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I suppose that's another big thing, because probably many people do. I suppose this is the whole problem with the whole mental health eruption that we've had over the last few years, is because quite obviously people are feeling alone. People are feeling like they are the only ones going through it. So again, like you said, social media as well, put your sunny best foot forward. So I don't even do selfies. I'd rather do video than a selfie. Everyone's putting it's all sunshine and rainbows when actually it's not. So then that's making people, because they are so used to comparing. And so then in their, again, stories that they're creating, my life isn't like that. So I must be wrong, and there's something wrong with me, and I'm not worthy of having that life.
Exactly. And so all of that comes up, all of that. And so one of the things is it's actually understanding you're not alone. You're not alone. And that's the first thing. So if you are feeling like you're not worthy, if you're feeling those imposter syndrome, maybe you haven't named it that, or you're finding yourself feeling in spaces that you feel I don't belong, or I'm not worthy of this, or I only got this by luck, take a breath. Know that you're not alone. Know that people have gone through it, and not just people like you and I, but people like Michelle Obama, Oprah Winfrey, Maya Angelou. All of these people I've just mentioned have suffered imposter syndrome and have been very open about that. And that's just 3. There's so many amazingly illustrious women who have done incredible things who still think they are unworthy. Maya Angelou had a quote that she said she's written 11 books. And at one point, she's thinking somebody's going to find out that she's been fooling them all along, that she doesn't know what she knows. That's the Maya Angelou.
Wow. So there you go. So everybody goes through it.
Yeah. You're not alone. And here's another thing. The thing about the imposter syndrome, again, because it's now in the news, we see it pop up, and it's this thing. But here's the thing. I tell people, if you are having bouts of imposter syndrome, congratulations. It means you're doing something that is important. It means that you're doing something that means something to you. Because if you were Netflixing and chilling, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah. It's a sign you're going out your comfort zone. Keep going out your comfort zone. What do they say? You've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Exactly. You do not get imposter syndrome when you're Netflixing and chilling. When I'm lying on my couch watching The Mandalorian, I'm like, I'm not worried about not being good enough. But if I have to do something that means something to me, that is important to me, that makes me take a big, and that feeling comes up, I recognize it's because this means something to me. And
But
that's
how would people know the difference between that and the fear of, or that they are on the wrong path? So because sometimes it can be a similar feeling, right? That nervous feeling. How would people know that one is the good part and it's just testing them, and the other one is, because there's so many things within the self-development arena that they say when you're in the flow and everything just goes smoothly. So if you're constantly having obstacles, then maybe it's not the right path. However, it might just be that you're just coming up against these imposter syndrome feelings and you should go through it. But how do you know which one is which?
I guess it's going back to those questions where you're able to unpack them and say, okay, what is the feeling? Is it this? Is it every time keep going back to the question, who am I when I have these thoughts? When do these thoughts come up? Is it true? Dig deep down and really sit with it, question and see what comes up. If it's a case of you're feeling like, you know what? I'm doing this thing because everybody's doing it. I don't enjoy it, but I can do it. Or I'm doing it because, and the reasons, by the time you question, why did you get into this, let's say starting a podcast? Oh, because everyone's doing it. Okay. Do you enjoy it? No, actually, I hate talking to people and I'm tired.
It's not for you.
So, same person. Why did I get into this podcast? And well, everybody's doing it. And I thought I should give it a punt. And you know what? I really love when I get the right guest on and we talk and it feels like it's a chat and oh my God, I love when I talk to them. But yeah, I get a little worried when I'm setting up the calls and if they will say yes to me to being on my podcast, because they have 90 million people and I have 2. So maybe I'm not good enough to reach out to that person. You can see it's a different set of conversations that are going on in here. But if it's I'm doing this and it feels like I'll rather drink dishwater.
It's definitely not for you.
No, the world does not need that podcast.
No. If somebody told me 5 years ago I'd be doing this, I would have laughed. But even this just came out of lockdown. Wanted to put on a summit. I love it. I think it's because I'm nosy and I'm genuinely interested in what people are doing and how did you get there and what made you choose this, and so there's my own curiosity that has ended up putting me where I am today. It's funny, isn't it?
And that's amazing. And that's not saying that you haven't had moments of like where you're like, oh God, technology is driving me mad, and all of those moments. It's not.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, tons of and the whole I'm not good enough, I don't know what I'm doing, and yeah, you just keep going. And I suppose I would say to people is just do not stop. You've just got to, so many people, and I've had people even host our own station that have given up, and I'm like, oh man, just show up. It's not going to happen overnight. Nothing. Do you know of anybody that's had overnight success, but actually when you look at it, it's been 15 years in the making, right?
Yeah, that's the point. I was going to say my favorite response to that is actually from the actor Jet Li. And do you remember Jet Li? It seemed like he just came on the scene. And he goes that it took him 15 years. Wait, did he say 15 or 10? 10 or 15 years to be an overnight success. And that was on the back of after he did the first movie he did that all of a sudden he was everywhere was Romeo Must Die. Then after Romeo Must Die, he did another movie, and all of a sudden, every movie had Jet Li. And I think it was after he did the movie The One, and he goes, yeah, it took him over 10 years to be an overnight success. Nobody knew that he was in China at the time, working his hiney off on so many different projects. He was working overnight, and all of a sudden, he was successful in the eyes of the world. But he's been
Yeah. He was showing up.
And you know what? Let me put that in context. There are times when you're like, I have nothing left. Take a rest. It's okay. Nurture yourself by taking a rest. Because if you don't, you're going to end up in burnout. And burnout is a whole different conversation. It's a whole different beast. Because yes, show up. But if you feel like, you know what, my bag is empty, my higher self's bag is empty, future self down the road, next lifetime's bag is empty, then I'm take a rest. Take a moment to just like rest and hear.
But then again, we've been conditioned to feel guilty if we take a rest, haven't we? And especially, again, I don't want to sound like I'm saying, oh, women have it tough, but in general, because in general, not in all cases, if the women are at home dealing with the children and trying to juggle work and trying to that, it's almost, they do. I've had them say to me, self-care is this the one thing you've got to do, because if you're going to keep going, you will burn out. But then it can be a double-edged sword, because then if they do spend some time in self-care, it's actually had a negative impact because they're feeling guilty about doing it. So it hasn't served its purpose at all.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, okay, so when we talk about that, women do have it tough, especially women who are having to do the bulk of the child rearing, have a career, and COVID highlighted that. For women globally, they did that whole survey and that whole report that came out that women were doing double duty unpaid. And so I can't remember, it was, I think, International Women's Day. They put a figure on what a woman's work is in the home, what it will be worth in terms of a payment. It was over 50 something thousand a year. It picked that. And so women leave their day job, they come home and take on the bulk of, and we've been told you're supposed to have it all, do it all, blah, 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 blah. You can do everything. And you're like, And that when we growing up, again, I'm looking at it from a cultural lens. Oh, hardworking woman, strong Black woman. And I'm like, yeah, wherever I can give back the strong Black woman card, please can someone inform me, because I would like to hand back my membership post haste, because I don't want it. We've been fed that, and women are going and going. And the idea that if you take time for yourself, you're selfish, or you're supposed to feed your children first and do this and have the little dregs left. And I'm like, okay, but if you are having the dregs left and you don't have enough energy to support these people in your charge, are you doing them a service or disservice? If you do not have the wherewithal to support somebody else because you are coming undone, going to support that person is not you being a good person, is you being, in total words, selfish, because it's, oh, look, let me prove how selfless I am. No, you're not serving anybody. You're not even serving that person, because you're giving them, because when you're at the edge of that point where you have nothing left, and when somebody else needs you, you're like, yeah, I'll do it. This is the face you show. But deep down, you're like, you know what? I'd rather push you down the stairs, really, and do it. And so the energy you're going in to do that thing, even though this is the face, the energy is this.
And they feel resentful.
That's resentment. That is anger. That is annoyance. And that you then feel double, then you have this double thing, because you feel bad because of how you're feeling and thinking, and then you turn all of that rage, all of that anger in on yourself, and then you start to literally harm your being, because you're holding all these contrary feelings. You're angry at the person for wanting so much of you, and then you're angry at yourself for being angry at them in the first place. So there's a lot of anger and pain, and then you're holding. That's not the energy that you want to serve anybody in or do anything in. And also because we know holding on to those kind of energy destroys us, because it's
Absolutely.
distress and inflammation and dis-ease in our body and mind. And Yeah.
You've got to take time for yourself. We know it in some cases. You get on an aeroplane, they say you've got to take the oxygen mask first. There's all these sayings you can't give from an empty cup. So it's almost like there is a contradiction there, isn't there? Because people know this to be true, but they're still having these feelings of guilt or if they do go and spend time. But that's going to help with it is changing. It is changing. Do you think that's changed over the last few years?
It has, and especially the generation behind me and the millennials, and they're like, find somebody else to do it. They're literally, that is their energy. Is like, find somebody else to do it. I don't want to do it. Thank you. And,
there must be a balance.
We look at them like, I was like, yeah, no, find someone else to do it. This whole, and we are now going back to listening to women who spoke about self-care being a revolutionary act, because we can see what it means, not just to us, but to others. My mother's generation and now seeing how we are living different is, oh, okay, yeah, we're like, no, thank you. We don't want that. And then the generation who have come after us are like, we still, you've done well, bravo, but
we want
and
more.
then now we have the Gen Zs who are like,
I suppose it goes from one extreme to another.
yes.
We've got to find that balance, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's interesting because I find that we are now in that space where, especially for women of color, are now finding out that it's okay not to be strong. It's okay not to be the strong one in the room. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? I want to be taken care of too. Or let's make this a mutual caring situation. I'm loving how women of color are now saying, I can do this without breaking my neck or breaking my soul. And I'm loving how women collectively are now going, yeah, I can have it all, but for me to have it all, I need support, which means I will get somebody in to do certain things. I will get support, and I will no longer feel guilty by it or allow some dead person's ideology on how the world should work define how I show up. And that is really beautiful. When you're seeing women who are like, okay, yeah, I want a job, I want a business, or I want a business, I want a job, I want a career, but I want a family that is happy, and I want time for myself, which means something's got to give, which means
I'm not doing the housework.
I will find someone who likes doing housework and pay them.
Yeah.
Then that my time to do something else. I will find someone who likes doing the shelves, so I'm not yelling at the partner who doesn't like doing the shelves and make him feel bad about the fact that he doesn't like doing shelves. This person likes doing shelves, yes. They do it well, yes. Pay them.
Yeah. Outsource.
And
you can have it all.
Exactly.
You can have it all without feeling guilty.
And without breaking yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's a really big thing, because I think there's just too much pressure on people. I think there's too much pressure on people in general, but it's all unnecessary. It is all unnecessary. Lillian, share with the listeners what you offer people. What is it you do? How do you help them? Where can they find you?
So what do? I coach, and I hold one-to-one retreats with women. I help them reconnect to themselves. So I don't empower you. I just re-empower you. So I reconnect you to yourself. I get you connected to your inner archetypes. I get you connected to pleasure, to joy. I stop the imposter syndrome from messing up your life. I get you to see more possibilities. I use different tools. Like I mentioned, I'm an NLP practitioner. I'm also a certified hypnotherapist. So I use different tools and different ways to reconnect you to your source self. It's almost, I do a factory reset so that you stop playing these games with yourself.
Stories.
Yes, I allow you to fall in love with the woman in the mirror and actually attain those goals that is sitting. So you stop feeling not worthy, not enough, not wanted. I understand what it feels like to feel like the other in the room. I help quiet that and help you reaffirm your sense of belonging. And I do that in many different ways. And so how can they find me? On my website, which is under my name, which is lillianogbogoh.com. So www.lillianogbogoh.com. I'm on social media for my sins. I'm on socials. So you can find me on LinkedIn under Lillian Ogbogoh. You can find me under Instagram under Lillian Ogbogoh and on Twitter. And if you're curious about the archetypes, I want to find out more, drop me a message. I'll send you a link that you can, in fact, I'm sure I'll send you that link, Karen, that you can for your listeners to discover what their archetypes are, what their main archetype is, but also you'll get a full report that gives you a breakdown of the different archetypes and the ones that I tend to work with. And so you can get that. And I connect you to you. I don't give you what you don't have. I connect you to yourself.
Love that. And people need to trust themselves more, because didn't you find that this is it again, going back to, I'm not playing the blame game. I'm not just saying, oh, it's down to all our conditioning, but we've somehow forgotten. We've somehow been conditioned in some way to not trust ourselves. Like you said right at the beginning, that we've given our power away. We think everything is outside of us and it's actually within us. I suppose we were told at school, stop looking out that window daydreaming. Why? I'm happy.
That daydream was good, because I got told that quite a lot of times. And oh, you're not listening, you're daydreaming. What did I just say? And I'm able to then recite verbatim what they just did. They're like, what? What? And the thing is, we have forgotten. What I will say is we have amnesia. We have amnesia of our own power. And we have been taught to fear that power, because we don't have enough time to go into all the reasons why we've been taught as to fear our own power, but we've been taught to fear our own power. We've been taught that we as women are problematic and original sin and all of that nonsense. So we're taught that as women, power is problems. And so somehow along that journey, from then to now, along the way, we are born, like I go back to this, we're born whole. And then at some point, things happen that causes us to become this person living with power amnesia. We forget how powerful we are. We forget how incredible we are. We forget that we are spiritual beings having human experiences. We forget that we're glorious. We forget that we can move mountains. We forget that we can change the world. We forget all of that. And then, yeah.
You got to go within. There you go. You got to go within. So, recapping. Imposter syndrome. It is a thing. It's a story. Is it an actual thing? It's a story.
It's a story
that affects us. Yeah. But somehow we've got to avoid all the distractions and not be afraid to sit in the feeling place of it. Not to avoid it. Don't have to put the happy face on. Although it's funny, I am in quandary with that one. I come originally from the fitness industry, and I've always said to my girls that I'm very grateful for the industry, because I've got to show up, ding, ready to go. So anything that's happened, so rather than dwell on, oh, poor me, it was never possible. If something had just happened, I've got to put it to one side, leave it at the door and go in and smile. And funnily enough, by the end of the hour, I'm feeling great. And I used to say that was a real positive thing, because it was just something that became habitual for me. Because there's a bit of a contradiction, because I get it. We should sit with the feeling, but I suppose the difference is having the tools to pull yourself out of it, not avoid it fully.
Yeah, and not because move into that space. You're not moving into that space where you become melancholy and basically you become a Greek tragedy because, oh, woe
Oh,
is me.
yes.
I shall brood on Monday at 8. I shall brood on Wednesday at 7. No, it's an understanding that facing it doesn't mean you stay there forever. It means
Yeah.
face it, use the tools, address it, and then move. It's that ebb and flow. It's like you're not stuck in one space or another.
Yeah, because that is and that is what seems to be happening with so many people, is that they found themselves just in this habitual pattern of this low vibration, and then they can't seem to get out of it because they've been down there for so long. It's become habitual to them.
Yeah.
So to get out of that, and so even though I would, but by the end of the hour, I certainly wasn't forcing a smile, because I had fake it till you make it. I had just forgotten about it. Again, distracted.
Yeah, but also, let's also add to that. There's a reason why your energy shifted, because one, you did something. You chemically changed your body. So you filled your body with endorphins. The energy of moving got your chemicals moving. So you got serotonin up, you got your endorphins up, your energy was, and also the fact is that half the time when people are upset and going through things, they will stay like this. And so physiologically, your body stays, and your body goes, oh, we're upset. And then you stay in this state. And then what happens? Your cortisol raises. And when we stay small, and our body starts sending us a message, because it's neurological as well. It's not just an emotional state, it's neurological, because our body starts, when we are in certain states, our body will then say, this means we are upset. This means we are afraid. And if we're just staying in that state, the body keeps producing the chemicals to say we're upset. And then the mind then interprets the chemicals and say, oh, we are upset, so we are upset.
Yeah,
So the thing
brilliant
is,
point.
when you went in and did your fitness stuff as an instructor, even if you're going to class, first of all, you've moved your body, you're open, your body's going into this open body language, like, yay, let me move. The body is moving. What then happens is that the chemicals your body starts to produce are different. You start to produce the good, happy chemicals, and then it's a vibe. You're listening to music. You have other people in the room whose energy is lifting you.
Yeah.
By the end of the hour, your body is, oh, we're fine. And so your mind is then saying, oh, we're fine. Your mind tells your body you're fine, and it creates this loop. We're fine. We're good.
Yeah, sure. That was great. Loved it. Loved every moment of it, really. The problem is not doing it now. I'm just sat in this chair. But the habitual patterns, I think, I do feel very grateful for that, because I think that's helped with a lot of things. And who knew it? Just being a fitness instructor. I wasn't just, but it all helped. It all helps. And like you say, with the exercise on top of it, it's releasing everything. And there be the problem. Look, I could sit and talk to you forever. Thank you so much for your time on the show today, Lillian. It's been a great chat, and imposter syndrome is being talked about a lot. And I think a lot of people have been going through it, and there's help.
Yes.
You don't have to stay stuck, and you're not alone. You're not alone. So to the listeners, get in touch with Lillian. If you're watching this, all her details are below. But thank you for your time today. And to the rest of you, I will be back. I'll be back tomorrow with a Coffee with Karen. Bye for now.
Bye.
Coffee with Karen podcast, a weekly chat show discussing everything from holistic health to current affairs from a mental, physical and spiritual perspective. Get your weekly cup of positivity with a sprinkling of woo-woo.